I am gaming. I am gaming. I am gaming podcast.
Hey everyone, my name is Ivica. Thank you so much for being on the latest episode 29 of my I Am Gaming podcast, a podcast about the video game industry, entrepreneurship, gaming nostalgia, and many other things in the same broad field that I see as a single entity. This time around, I'm going to talk to you about an idea that I have been using for a long time now. I call it a 3-month projects that last for 3 months and then allow you to either move on to something else or continue developing the same project for the next 3 months and so forth. Before we get into any of that, I just want to give a huge shout out to a really cool game in development I recently found that's called Expression. It's a new mobile fantasy adventure in development which aims to do something that's really smart, really different, and that's use the voice to text ability on mobile phones, on digital smart devices, to translate things you say, words of power, as a form of magic and spell casting in the game. This is really smart, really innovative, but really simple and easy to understand. I hope that Expression gets more backing, more tracking, and I can't wait to play it. So if you're interested in the game, check out the link in the description below. It's a really innovative thing that's being built, and I hope it gets to see the light of day. Now, for the 3-month projects, how do they work and what's the whole deal? Well, basically, I love side projects. I love to do things not just on the side in terms of my professional career, which is that of a game designer, but also as something that helps you explore new skills, new domains, new interests, but not only as a hobby, but as an actual project that might provide you with something concrete in the future. That could be money, ability to network and meet other people doing the same, peers, build a community, anything or everything you might want to do. Now, the idea of doing this for 3 months is something that I came about spontaneously years ago, because it's super easy to get fixated on things and then invest a huge amount of time into something that doesn't go anywhere. The same goes for investing too little time into something that has potential, but in that moment, for example, there could be a pandemic, a global pandemic that sidetracks you, and then you basically never go back to it, only to figure out years later that it really had some potential. Now, 3 months or 90 days is, in my view, a really solid period to see if something has sea legs, if something can stand on its own, or even to create something from start to finish in its entirety. For example, the latest book I wrote, Using Psychology to Overcome Mass Fears, was written in a 3-month period. It started with my idea that I quickly developed, started writing. I talked about it in one of my previous podcast episodes, and in 3 months I had my project from start to finish completed. Now the book is being sold on Amazon. It's one of my books, non-fiction books, that I'm selling there. It's not doing anything spectacularly well presently, but it's done. It's finished. The project as is had its start, had its runtime, and it came to an end, all in a 3-month window. I believe also that 3 months is really good for learning new stuff, not that you become an expert in it, but that you get a solid insight in the domain that you want to explore. And at that point, you can decide if it's not for you, it's not something that you wanted to pursue or want to pursue further, or if you want to invest more time in it. This is the beauty of the 3-month period. If you have something that you think is useful, is working, you can simply extend 3-month period into a 6-month period or 9-month period or a year. It's basically modular, and that's a really cool option for any kind of planning process, which still takes place on the back burner. It's not something you primarily do in your life, but it's still something that's really interesting to you, and I hate to say it, but you're passionate about it. Not really passionate, but engaged in it. If you do it in a 3-month chunks, chances are that you can explore a concept you have instead of being like everyone else and saying, oh, I had such a great idea, but I never did anything about it. Forget about that. If you get into that position, just forget you even had the idea. Instead, explore that idea. Invest time, effort, if it need be money, but really cautiously, and explore if this thing can move further. Or if it's a smaller thing, finish it. For example, you can do a YouTube documentary, a short YouTube documentary on a game you love. A 3-month period will allow you to make a really solid piece of content, upload it, and see what happens. Also, another important thing, psychologically speaking, is that 3 months, if you do only single small 3-month long projects, in a year you'll be able to do 4 of these. That's not a small number. And if you do different things, you can still do plenty of stuff in a year that you might otherwise miss out on if you just kind of nebulously move through, in and out over a course of the year, never really stopping to develop something and never really finishing something new or starting something new. With a 3-month chunk, you have that clear window of time and the effort and energy you want to invest. That's up to you. But once the 3-month period is over, you assess. Do I like the results? Do I like what I'm getting? Do I see a potential here? Can it move further? And then you make a decision. Or if it's a smaller project, you finish, like in case of my book, upload it, start to sell it, and wish it all the best. But it's completed. So think about that in your future endeavors, because I believe, especially if you're into side gigs, side projects, 3-month period projects are the ideal path forward. And that would be all for the 29th episode of I'm Gaming Podcast. I would love to hear what you think about the 3-month project concept. Do you practice something similar, or you think it sucks? Whatever it might be, please leave a comment below. Also, if you're a first-time viewer, think about subscribing. There will be more episodes like this, and even better ones where I have guests and we talk about interesting stuff. Finally, a huge thanks to my Patreon supporters. I'm really grateful that you decided to pitch in and help me continue to create this podcast. Your help is really immeasurable. Check out all of my patrons in the description below as well. If you consider maybe supporting me, check out the link right there. And I would love to get that $1 per month from you, or even more than that. It would be awesome. That's all from me. It was another episode of I'm Gaming Podcast, and I wish you a fantastic new week and a great day. Thanks again, and bye-bye.